Part 2 of Chapter 5 of XYZ, a detective story by Katharine Green. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Carolyn. Part 2 of Chapter 5. The Yellow Domino. "No, he is here," came in startling accents over my shoulders, and with a quick leap Joe Benson sprang by me and stood handsome, tall, and commanding in the center of the room. "Hartley, Carrie, Edith, what is this I hear? My father stricken down, my father dying or dead, and I left to wander up and down through the shrubbery while you knelt at his bedside and received his parting blessing. Is this the recompense you promised me, Hartley? Is this your sisterly devotion, Carrie? This your love and attention to my interests, Edith?" "Oh, Joe, dear Joe, do not blame us," Carrie made haste to reply. "We thought you were here. A man was here, that man behind you simulating you in every regard, and to him we gave the domino, and from him we have learned—" "What?" sprang in thundering tones from the young giant's throat as he wheeled on his heel and confronted me. "That your brother Hartley is a villain," I declared, looking him steadily in the eye. "God!" was his only exclamation as he turned slowly back and glanced toward his trembling brother. "Sir," said I, taking a step toward Uncle Joe, who, between his eagerness to embrace the newcomer and his dread of the consequences of this unexpected meeting, stood oscillating from one side to the other in a manner ridiculous enough to see, "what do you think of the propriety of uttering aloud and here the suspicions which you were good enough to whisper into my ears an hour ago? Do you see any reason of altering your opinion as to which of the two sons of Mr. Benson invaded his desk and appropriated the bonds afterward found in their common apartment when you survey the downfallen crest of the one and compare it with the unfaltering look of the other?" "No," he returned, roused into sudden energy by the start given by Hartley; and advancing between the brothers, he looked first at one and then at the other with a long, solemn gaze that called out the color on Hartley's pale cheek and made the crest of Joe rise still higher in manly pride and assertion. "Joe," said he, "for 3 years now your life has lain under a shadow. Accused by your father of a dreadful crime, you have resolutely refused to exonerate yourself, notwithstanding the fact that a dear young girl waited patiently for the establishment of your innocence in order to marry you. To your family this silence meant guilt, but to me and mine it has told only a tale of self-renunciation and devotion. Joe, was I right in this? Was Edith right? The father you so loved and feared to grieve is dead. Speak then. Did you or did you not take the bonds that were found in the cupboard at the head of your bed 3 years ago to-night? The future welfare not only of this faithful child, but of the helpless sister who, despite her belief in your guilt, has clung to you with unwavering devotion, depends upon your reply." "Let my brother speak," was the young man's answer, given in a steady and nobly restrained tone. "Your brother will not speak," his uncle returned. "Don't you see you must answer for yourself? Say then, are you the guilty man your father thought you, or are you not? Let us hear, Joe." "I am not," avowed the young man, bowing his head in a sort of noble shame that must have sent a pang of anguish through the heart of his brother. "Oh, I knew it, I knew it!" came from Edith's lips in a joyous cry, as she bounded to his side and seized him by one hand, just as his sister grasped the other in a burst of shame and contrition that showed how far she was removed from any participation in the evil machinations of her elder brother. The sight seemed to goad Hartley Benson to madness. Looking from one to the other, he uttered a cry that yet rings in my memory. "Carrie, Edith, do you both forsake me, and all because of a word which any villain might have uttered? Is this the truth and constancy of women? Is this what I had a right to expect from a sister, a friend? Carrie, you at least always gave me your trust. Will you take it away because a juggling spy and a recreant brother have combined to destroy me?" But beyond a wistful look and a solemn shake of the head, Carrie made no response, while Edith, with her eyes fixed on the agitated countenance of her lover, did not even seem to hear the words of pleading that were addressed to her. The shock of the disappointment was too much for Hartley Benson. Clenching his hand upon his breast, he gave one groan of anguish and despair, and sank into a chair, inert and helpless. But before we could any of us take a step toward him, before the eyes of the doctor and mine could meet in mutual understanding, he had bounded again to his feet, and in a burst of desperation seized the chair in which he sat, and held it high above his head. "Fools, dotards!" he exclaimed, his eyes rolling in frenzy from face to face, but lingering longest on mine, as if there he read the true secrets of his overthrow, as well as the promise of his future doom. "You think it is all over with me, that there is nothing left for you to do but to stand still and watch how I take my defeat. But I am a man who never acknowledges defeat. There is still a word I have to say that will make things a little more even between us. Listen for it, you. It will not be long in coming, and when you hear it, let my brother declare how much enjoyment he will ever get out of his victory." And whirling the chair about his head, he plunged through our midst into the hall without. For an instant we stood stupefied. Then Carrie Benson's voice rose in one long, thrilling cry, and with a bound she rushed towards the door. I put out my hand to stop her, but it was not necessary. Before she could cross the threshold, the sudden, sharp detonation of a pistol shot was heard in the hall, and we knew that the last dreadful word of that night's tragedy had been spoken. The true secret of Hartley Benson's action in this matter was never discovered. That he planned his father's violent death, no one who was present at the above interview ever doubted. That he went further than that, and laid his plans in such a manner that the blame, if blame ensued, should fall upon his innocent brother, was equally plain, especially after the acknowledgment we received from Jonas that he went out on the balcony and looked in the window at the special instigation of his young master. But why this arch villain, either at his own risk or at that of the man he hated, felt himself driven to such a revolting crime will never be known, unless, indeed, the solution be found in his undoubted passion for the beautiful Edith, and in the accumulated pressure of certain secret debts for whose liquidation he dared not apply to his father. I never revealed to this family the true nature of the motives which actuated me in my performance of the part I played that fatal night. It was supposed by Miss Carrie and the rest that I was but obeying instructions given me by Mr. Benson, and I never undeceived them. I was too much ashamed of the curiosity which was the mainspring of my action to publish each and every particular of my conduct abroad, though I could not but congratulate myself upon its results when, some time afterward, I read of the marriage of Joe and Edith. The counterfeiters were discovered and taken, but not by me. Finis. End of Part 2 of Chapter 5. End of XYZ, a detective story by Katharine Green. Thank you for listening.